Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to walk you through kind of a Reiki session, explain to you a little bit like what happens during a session, what exactly it is. And I'm not talking about Reiki in the terms of like the history of Reiki or life force energy with Reiki. That's all really important information, but it doesn't actually tell you anything about like what happens during session. So I want to like share with you about like what it's like for me as the practitioner, the person that's giving the healing, like what I see, what I feel, and like how I receive information. Now, I do want to note that for every practitioner, it is different. It is not the same for all of us. So if you're a practitioner and you're like, that doesn't really happen for me, that's totally fine. That's the beauty of it. And every session, like you may have one session with me, you may have a session with somebody else. All of ours are really different. So in that, I can only really speak from me. Okay. But I'm going to share with you like what it's like and what's actually happening in my body and what I feel when I am sending you Reiki. All right. Um, Reiki is a very popular thing right now. A lot of people are starting to realize like I can get my energy cleared. What's an energy clearing? What is Reiki, which is an energy modality to give clearings, okay? There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more. And I know the history of Reiki. I'm just keeping it really simple. I know people are drawn to it, but there's still like this cloud of mystery around it. And it makes people really hesitant to trust it. They don't really understand it. And honestly, a lot of people want to understand stuff before they invest in it or they have it done. So today I'm going to pull back the curtain. I'm going to allow you into my bubble. And here we go. So the first thing I want to start into is what Reiki actually is. I might say it differently than you've probably have heard it. And again, I can quote the history of Reiki. I understand the lineage of Reiki, but I want to just focus on kind of like some of the basics to keep this really simple. You need to understand that Reiki is it's not magic. I'm not doing something to you. I'm not putting a spell on you. There's not like a curse on you. I'm not sending you my own energy, okay? Because if I did that, I would be so exhausted. And that'd be kind of icky anyways. Like, I don't want to do that. That's not how that works, okay? Reiki is a facilitated healing. You have to be trained and in tuned to Reiki symbols and the Reiki in order to give Reiki. So this means that a Reiki practitioner has gone through a specific process, which I did. I am a Reiki master. A Reiki master is somebody that can teach Reiki, and then a Reiki practitioner is somebody that can give healings. I can do both healings and teach, okay? But through my Reiki training that I was able to open up my channels and clear my energy, work on my blockages, work on myself, and really learn how to harness that universal life force energy in order to send that healing to you. So I am part of that funnel, right? I harness the universal life force energy and then I move that through your energy. Okay, again, I am not sending you my own energy. I want, though, to note that whoever works on you, it is very important that they do understand their energy, that they have done the healing work in their life, that they are working on themselves. That is very, very important. We're going to come back to that, but I do want to note that, okay? I want you to understand that your body already knows how to heal. You don't need me. Your body knows how to heal. It does it every day. So when you cut your finger or when you are fighting off a cold or something's going on in your body is healing itself, right? When your nervous system finally settles after stress, your body is moving toward healing, all right? What Reiki does, it just amplifies what your body already knows, and it feeds that life force energy into the places where maybe the flow has gotten stuck, blocked, or depleted. And honestly, energy can get stuck for a lot of reasons. It can get stuck because of grief. It can get stuck because of trauma, chronic stress, beliefs that we have, emotional suppressions, old patterns that we've maybe never cleared, physical tension that we've been holding on over the years. And when we have these blockages in us, these emotional, energetic blockages, what happens is it can cause a lot of stress, anxiety, even physical ailments can really happen in our body. All right. So this is really big, especially in Eastern medicine. And I think that's pretty valid. I'm not going to go down that road either. Again, trying to stay focused. All of this that I'm talking about, though, is in your energy field. We each have our own energy field. All of this is in your energy bubble, if you want to say. And your energy field is not separate from your physical body. It's like layers. There's layers to us, right? And so this is why like using Reiki can have like very measurable physical effects, because that energy goes through these layers and it works through that. Okay. So it's not just like physical, if that makes sense in any sense. That's what I'm going to say. So it helps you clear all these things. It does help you work through grief, trauma, chronic stress, physical ailments, emotional, like emotions that have been suppressed, old patterns. We heal them, we cut them, we clear them. I say we because it's your spirit team. We do all of that. All right. Basically, the whole goal is to get you in your highest alignment on your highest timeline. That's my goal when I work with you. I want to get you to your highest level so that you can have more clarity, peace. What happens during a session? Let's talk about that. All right. Before I connect with a client, or I have to really prepare myself. Now, for me, I like to call in my higher self, my angels, and my guides. Basically, it looks like this. I call in my higher self, my angels, and my guides to protect the sacred and safe space that I'm creating today. I always set the intention for the highest and best good. I also call in the guides of the person that I'm working on to step into their space. I don't want your guides in my space. I want you in their space. All right. But I need to also ground. So I like to make sure I do some breathing. I make sure I'm ground. I make sure I'm fully present for the session, so that anything that I'm going through in my life isn't affecting the session. That's very, very important so I can stay focused. And like I said, I always set the intention for the highest and best. The thing is that it makes sure that when I'm studying, I say these prayers and I ground that this is more important than people really realize. All right. A Reiki practitioner who isn't clear, it's like running clear water through a dirty pipe. Okay. That preparation and what I take that time doing is what makes sure that my transmission and what I'm channeling is clear for you. There's no ego. There's no judgment. It's just, I'm completely an open channel for you. If I'm working on a person in person, they lay on a massage table, fully clothed. And if I'm working on you directly, you can lay down, you can sit down. I really don't care what you do. But Reiki does work despite distance because energy surpasses time and space. So that's kind of all it is. I just see you here on the screen and then I get to work. But distance is not a limitation when it comes to energy work, and that's important. That's one of the first things that really tends to surprise people because they're like, how does that work? And it's actually really surprising because they're like, oh my God, I was so relaxed during the session. You might get really tired. You might get really sleepy. You just listen to good, calming, meditative music while I'm clearing you. All right. But once that connection is made, that what you are receiving is just as powerful as if you were present with me in the room. I've worked on people clear across the world and it doesn't make a difference. All right. When I connect with you, what do I feel? The moment that connection is made, whether I place my hands on you, like they hover on you, they don't place on you, but hover around you or near your body, or I'm remote, I will start receiving information very quickly. It's like I get this download, like a book of information just like pouring in on me of just everything that I kind of need to know with what you're working through, what I need to focus on, what needs to be cleared, cut. This is really where my mediumship as well as my psychic abilities really layer into my Reiki work. And I think this is what makes my session so different than other people's, because of the way that I'm able to receive, see, channel information. I'm able to get to the root of what needs to be healed, worked on, and cleared quicker and send that healing there because I'm able to kind of zoom into it. So I'm not just like moving energy, I'm reading it and I'm truly receiving it. But here's what it actually feels like for me. Heat, I get really, really hot. I get really sweaty during sessions. That's a big thing. My hands will get warm if you're in person over certain areas of your body. Those areas are usually like where you're holding tension or where I need to give more healing to, or just different things that are going on in the body, emotional, or where you're like stagnant emotions, or where you are stagnant. And so I will hone in, talk to the guides, get more information on that. Also, like the solar plexus, which is right here, right below your breastbone. This is like the identity. This is the power center. This is like your self-worth. When somebody's giving too much of this, it can radiate a lot of heat, right? When you're carrying old shame or things are out of control, I'll feel a lot of heat in that body, as well as like anxiety or like pressure. And I feel this in my body. So I will feel it in my body. That's how I know how to continue to send the healing and when it releases. A lot of times the client on the table, as well as myself, you might get like what I call Reiki bubbles, and it's like bubbles, or I burp a lot when I'm clearing the energy. Things like that. Okay, you on the table might feel tingling. I might feel tingling. All of this is not a bad thing. It's not I don't say this to like overwhelm you. When you're feeling these things, it just means that the energy is moving, that the energy is shifting. It's a good sign. It means that the healing is doing what it needs to do. All right. I feel heavy. I will feel heaviness depending on how much weight you're carrying on your shoulders, how much weight you're carrying from other people's. Things will feel thick, or like I can feel the resistance of the healing at times, which means I just have to kind of find what you're resisting, what needs to be shifted. It's like things are kind of congested a little bit. And that's where like the old stuff usually lives, like old grief, old patterns, old beliefs, things that you haven't fully processed. It's fine. I help you work through it. I break it up is basically what I do. I also can get really cold, not always, but like sometimes I can get like really cold, and this can be like where you're overly giving. You're overly giving. That's all I will say. That's basically what that is. So those that tend to give more than they're actually like pouring back into themselves. Then like with all of this that I'm getting, there's like the information that's happening. So while I'm clearing you and I pay attention to like the signs, the symbols, the impressions. Sometimes it's like I see sacred geometry, I need to send that to you, or I'll see colors that I need to send that to you. Sometimes I'll hear words or phrases. All of this I note and I write down in order to make sure that I'm able to communicate it with you. So I receive like a download at times. I just know things without like an explanation, but it's, again, all this is going to be for your acknowledgement when we get to that part of the session. So this is stuff that maybe you need to know or you need to hear in order to help that reset and that healing process. Sometimes you might feel like I'll feel emotion run through me, like that grief or that sadness, or sometimes you may feel it on the table as well. That's all normal. All right. All of this, again, I keep notes the whole time. After the session's done, we go through all of the notes and we discuss it, because healing isn't just about the energy moving. It's about you really understanding what moved and the reason why it needed to be processed and why it happened, and all of these things. It helps you guys to release and to connect and just really grow, right? It helps you to grow, and that's the big thing. So let's talk a little bit. Let's move now into like what happens in your body during the session. And this is the part where people can get a little bit anxiety when they first come into session. That's completely normal, right? You're going to have anxiety when you're trying something new at times. But I think whether you've had a Reiki before or you're considering for the first time, this might be something that's interesting. While I'm working on people, most people go into like a state of like relaxation. So they're just feeling really relaxed almost immediately. It's like the nervous system finally gets permission just to stop fighting, right? So if you guys know, there's two nervous systems. There's your synthetic, excuse my language, parasympathetic and your sympathetic, and you can only live in one nervous system at a time. So basically your fight or flight or your rest and restore. And so when the Reiki starts, you move into your rest and restore, which is the most important things that you can really do, because your body needs to breathe. It needs to heal. You can't heal when you're in survival mode. And healing requires you to feel safe. That's one of the biggest affirmations that I get for people when I'm healing is, I am safe. I am safe. And Reiki creates that signal in the nervous system. So beyond relaxation, which you'll definitely feel relaxed, you almost, a lot of times people will fall asleep and they don't even know that they're sleeping until I tell them to. You might feel warmth moving through your body. People actually will feel at times like I'm touching them, even though I never touch you. They might feel pressure. Why can't I say? They might feel pressure releasing in places that they didn't even know they were holding on to stuff, right? Some people cry, and it's not a sad cry. Sometimes it just needs to be released. It's part of healing, right? Some people see colors behind their eyes, and some people receive their own downloads of information because they're rested. They're able to have more clarity and receive that during session. After the session, almost immediately after, within the next 24 to 48 hours, you most likely will receive a lot more downloads, a lot of clarity, and a lot of people sleep really well that night. Like they're like, I got the best sleep ever. Situations may feel lighter to you. Decisions are going to be a little bit more clearer to you. And old feelings or old people may surface a little bit just to like remove, like it'll like, oh, they popped up and I don't really care to focus on them, and out they go. Because it's like we're working through that mud and we're loosening it up so you can kind of like see what's ready to be released. I say we again as in your spirit team, and me and my spirit team working together as one. That's Reiki is not there to make things worse. Okay. I want you to understand though that you guys are like an onion with layers. And so sometimes in one session, we will remove a layer, heal a layer. And some people are like, oh my God, it got a little crazy. And it's like, well, because you might need to heal that or work on that. You might have clarity into situations. You might begin to see things differently or have a different perception of things. So start having a little bit more awareness. You will have more awareness. I can't say that you won't. You definitely will. Everybody does Reiki different. So that's what a session's like for me, or how I give my sessions. Again, the first 30 minutes is rest for you. Like clear your energy, you relax, and then we go through all of your notes. But everyone is different. Everybody gives sessions different. I think that's the beauty of this job. There's not a competition with it. But when you have a session with me, you're getting a Reiki session really with all of my intuitive work, mediumship, and psychic development blended in together. I always want to make sure I give you guys the tools that you're able to walk away knowing how to help yourself as well. That's very, very important. I work in your energy field, clearing, balancing, and restoring, but I'm also receiving information, like I said, the entire time. Like I said, impressions, images, messages, emotional stuff, anything that your higher self feels like it's important for you to know in order for your soul to continue to evolve. Sometimes this even can be messages from your loved ones. Your loved ones will pop in at times or even hold space in to help with the healing. So this will happen. I am a medium, so that's why also that occurs. I don't force anything. I don't force your loved ones to come in. I don't force any of this. I just allow it to flow as it needs to flow. I stay open and I just allow what's needed to arrive to arrive. After that part of it, like I said, the last 30 minutes, we do a little bit of a debrief. I tell you what I felt in each area of the body, what I received, what I sensed was moving, and the guidance that kind of came through. Clients regularly tell me that debrief alone, just being told like, here, this is what I saw, or this is what I felt, or this is what I cleared, is one of the most like validating experiences, because you have to understand I'm getting these messages that you aren't really telling me what needs to be cleared, healed, or looked at. I just kind of tune in. And so it could be very validating to people that had just, you've been carrying so much. You're like, oh my God, that makes sense. I totally understand that. Like I understand myself more, because someone's finally naming what maybe you've been carrying for like years upon years. That's the work. That's what actually happens. anyways, if this is actually like pulling to you and you're interested in experiencing a session with me, and I call them energy recalibration. So it's under energy recalibration / energy clearing. And is this something that like you went, yeah, I need that, then definitely go book with me. That's all I will say. Go book with me. So you have everything in there. The clearing, the debrief, it's all in there. And if you've ever wanted to learn how to do Reiki on yourself, I will always recommend that, because there's 3 parts to Reiki. There's Reiki 1 level training, Reiki 2 practitioner training, and Reiki master, which is Reiki level 3. Everyone and anyone can take Reiki level 1, which I highly recommend. This is just more of like, I'm learning how to heal myself, protect myself, work on myself. I develop my own channel. I learn my own ability to work with energy, that life force energy. I do have a class coming up on April 23rd, April 30th. It's those 2 days. And I'm basically doing like Reiki level 1 certification, psychic activation, and intuition development. So you'll walk away attuned, activated, and actually knowing like how to use what you have in your abilities. The link for that is in my bio. So yeah, all right. Subscribe, like, comment, because I'm going to try to keep going deeper, giving you more opportunity to get to know me, get to know more how to use your abilities, understand your intuition. But honestly, also comment below if you've ever had a Reiki session, whether it's with me or somebody else. I want to know what happened. Did you like it? What did you feel? What did you think? Would you do it again? All that fun stuff. But I will see you in the next one. So thanks for being here again. Make sure you guys subscribe and like, because those matter. And I will talk to you later. Bye.